Hey everyone, happy Friday. I don't know if it's going to be Friday when you're watching this. Anyway, this is a game of Dominion that I played and I'm going to dub over. So we look at the kingdom here and uh, well, you can see it. We've got Tower and Canal and some really good control options. The things that are limited is the extra gains are there, but they're kind of bad, at least in terms of plus buy, right? There's trade route, and then stonemason is quite good, has natural synergy with Canal. Um, the village is probably the thing that is weakest and most important, right? And most contested. And when I say weakest, I mean not that nobles is a weak card, but there's only 8 of them, and you want a lot of terminal space, and also it's quite expensive, so it's going to be hard to figure out exactly what to do here. I want to say that pile control is going to be a really big deal because we've got tower, right, and stonemason. So normally I would say that whenever there's any like sort of plus gains or something, you really want to take a hard look at vineyard, but there aren't really that many actions here that I'm okay with having a ton of in my deck. So, you know, it's hard to know exactly what to do here, right? I think that getting to the point where you can stonemason for nobles really quickly is kind of a priority because you really are not going to want to lose that split, but not so much of a priority that you decline opening Exorcist. Like, Exorcist is such a good opener, like almost all the time, that, you know, you need a really compelling reason not to go for it. You can make an argument for opening with a Jake of all trades here, too. I don't think I got one this game, if I recall, but it's certainly not crazy. I'd rather go double Exorcist, and it looks like the opponent would as well. But the opponent does get a Jake. I don't think I end up getting one, but am I about to take Vagrant over Silver? No, I do take the Silver. We're not at the point where I'm taking Vagrant over Silver, and especially because I do want to spike 7 to get Canal to really make Stonemason better. I want to also spike 6 to get an altar, so that when I spike 7 to get Canal, the altar can be gaining nobles. And also, Altar's just a fine card to have in the deck. Pretty much all the cards you want here cost 5 or 5 plus, and it's the only thing that really likes to be thinning coppers. So the opponent's Jake is doing some work for him, for sure. Getting him some extra silvers, trashing his estates. He gets the first nobles. Like, that matters. So, yeah, this was just silly of me. I guess okay, if I buy a nobles, it's less silly. I just played the autoplay all treasures, didn't think about the exorcist in my hand. So I could. Oh wait. So if I'm going with my previous plan of really wanting to get Canal and have an altar in my deck so that I can be turning things into nobles, is that faster than just buying nobles? It's probably about the same, given that the nobles are going to be contested. Like, I'll get an extra nobles because I have an altar, but I take longer to start doing it. Uh, and the difference between that and just starting to buy nobles is that I end up with this altar in my deck. So take from that what you will. I think that I like having the altar. The opponent gets a trade route that I'm not crazy about. He's already trashed his. Well, he's got the ability to trash his estates with the Jake. Maybe he wants to stop playing as Jake and trash his Jake, but I don't know. I don't think that the trade route is doing a ton of work here, really. I think that plus buy is not really something you're going to use until later, and so he gets the Canal. And I bought another silver. At this point, I am concerned with terminal space because in the meantime, while I'm waiting to spike 7, I'm going to have to be gaining wild hunts with my altar. Not have to, but it's, I think, the best thing to gain. And, but, of course, the smithy is OP, so I do get to spike 7 here. Of course, I know I'm going to get the Canal. It's a done deal. The altar is in this shuffle, so I'd be crazy not to, I think. But I'm thinking about what to do with these exorcists. Do I just thin 2 coppers? Do I turn a silver into an imp? Do I turn in this extra exorcist into an imp? And I think that... Oh, okay. I turn my extra exorcist into an imp? Do I like that play looking back on it? I don't know. I mean, I could have used a little more thinning, I think. But setting up big price point spiky hands like this one, like we're seeing from the opponent, so you can stonemason for nobles is pretty good, so I don't know. It's I might have liked just thinning 2 coppers a little more, because then it would translate to more wild hunt plays once I do have the nobles, but I need the nobles first, so he just buys in nobles. I assume that he probably just forgot that you can stonemason for them. I don't know that that was a conscious choice. I wonder, right? Maybe he decided that he didn't want the stonemason in his deck so much that he would rather just buy on nobles. But I think it's more likely that he just forgot that stonemason can gain the nobles like that when you hit that price point. Okay, so at this point, I think that what am I going to end up doing with this exorcist? I'm going to stonemason for nobles. Like, that's decided. That only takes 6 because I have gotten the canal. And it looks like I prefer to thin a copper over anything else. Right? I think that thinning the copper is a better call than trashing my wild... what's that word? To get a ghost. I think that I made the right call there. Especially because, you know, if the wild hunts do empty, there's tower points in it for me, right? And they might. So, at this point, the opponent does stonemason for the nobles. So I'm going to have to buy this last one, and it looks like I'll be able to. Actually, I don't even have to buy it. I can turn the copper into it, which is even better. So what's the difference between mine and my opponent's deck? My opponent has a little more economy. He took that Jake of all trades earlier. So he's hitting bigger price points. I'm a little thinner, and I should not have just auto-played treasures. I could have at the very least thinned a copper, possibly gained an imp. So anyway, I'm a little thinner. We went 4-4 on nobles, I believe. Yes, that's what happened. And I think I'm in a better spot than he is. I like my odds here. But his deck has its advantages for sure. I probably underestimated what the Vagrants could be doing. I mean, maybe I should have been stonemasoning for Vagrants at various points, or possibly playing stonemason to trash silver into Vagrant. That's an idea. Because I could gain 2 of them, they draw nobles. If I decide to pivot into vineyards, they help with that. They contest those tower points for Vagrant, so... there's an idea behind doing that. I do decide that I'm thin enough that I can, and he's starting to contest the wild hunts, so I probably just take the points while I can get them, before he can get them. I mean, he's not really thin enough to make the points necessarily a good idea for him to take, but I don't know. I mean, maybe you don't really care about being thin, so I decide to mason for hunts. I have said, screw it, I'm gonna be over-terminaled this game. And I'm just going to deal with that and have a bunch of points from Wild Hunts and Stonemasons. Also, piles are quite low at this point, so that's a consideration. Yeah, the Jake and the Nobles work pretty well together, don't they? I mean, this mostly comes down to Nobles not being such a great village just because it, reduces your hand size by 1 when you play it as a village. But Jake doesn't mind that. So he's got the potion. And I kind of like that play from him, to be honest. I didn't really like going for the potion here, but in the position he's in, where I have points and piles are low, and they're lower than they look because of Canal and Stonemason, like, you really have to be careful. They could, uh, they could evaporate at any given time. So, what do I decide to do here with these 4 terminals in my hand? Trash a wild. Do I just mill a wild hunt out of the pile? Yep, I have more of them, so it gives me tower points. And I decide, let's do this. This third pile only takes now 2 coins, and I just have to hope that he can't score 10 points on his turn. 10 points or more, right? And then I'll be good to go. So I don't know who has more stonemasons. I think I have more stonemasons than he does, so I wonder if it was a valid concern that he could have piled stonemasons and gotten tower points on that. I wasn't paying attention, but it does work out. And so that's it for this one, and see you again next time.